Stamping boo-boos. Yeah, we've all made them. I don't care if you're a professional stamper or you just started, we've all made those mistakes. Hi, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. Welcome to today's Tuesday tip video. And in today's video, we're going to tackle how to cover up those little stamping boo-boos, and we're going to make them quickly disappear. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's start with our first stamping mistake. All right, here's a couple cards, and maybe you've had a stamping boo-boo like this. Let's start with this one here. Maybe you've caught the edge of the stamp. It happens to all of us. If you rock a little too hard with your stamp, it happens. Let me show you how I fix this. I'm just going to come in with a matching little ribbon knot. Okay, very simple. I'm going to press that onto a glue dot, and we'll take that right there. Boo-boo is gone. Now this one, I also hit the edge, but I might look a little odd to put a ribbon there. So let me show you what I'm going to do to fix this error. I've simply re-stamped my sentiment. I've added 3 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back so we can peel off the backings, center that up, cover up the boo-boo. There we go. 2 cards have been fixed. Here's a card I was working on. Now, I was planning on covering this up, but what do you do if you stamp your sentiment really crooked? Well, obviously, there's what I just showed you. And here you can see I just die cut, and I could just put that right there. But let's take it one step further. I'm going to take the die. I believe this is from Stitched Rectangles. We can take that. Let's die cut that. And now that that die cut has been removed, I can now add this to my card. I'm going to take that little piece of foil. That's going to make it look really pretty. And now I can come in with my ink pad. I can take my sentiment, and we'll get it straight this time. And one more little way, if you don't particularly like that, maybe you've got a really dark color as your background. Here, I've just stamped, added some Stampin' Dimensionals, and we can give that Highland Heather just a little shadow there, and that gives it a very different look as well. Now here's that same card, and I kind of dropped my sentiment when I went to stamp it. So there's a couple things you could do here. You could either cut this, or watch what I'm going to do. I'm simply just going to just tear that sentiment right off. You can add that to your card, and then there's that little die cut sentiment. There we go. Problem solved. There is a way to fix that. Now, again, like I said, I could come in and totally trim that off. You could then take this focal image. I'm going to add it to a piece of cardstock that's a little bit bigger. That actually gives it a really nice look. Now we can come in and we're just going to re-stamp our sentiment, making sure we don't drop the stamp this time. And there you go. So there is another quick fix. All right, I'm going to try to make a mistake here on camera for you. So I have got a solid image stamp, and I don't know if you can see, I've got, looks like maybe a couple little pieces of glitter that have landed on my ink pad. That happens. Well, watch what happens when I stamp this here onto my cardstock. Well, doggone it, it did not quite do what I wanted it to. Isn't it funny? If I try not to make a mistake, that's when the mistake happens. When I'm saying, no, I really want to make this mistake so I can teach this to you, that's when it's not going to happen. Well, I'm going to go ahead and show you how you would fix this. Let's pretend we have a boo-boo right here. You could take a matching Stampin' Right marker. So I've got a real red ink pad and a real red Stampin' Right marker. My tip is to tap. You know what? How about I do one of the seed. Yeah, it's a seed, Connie. Let's go ahead and try to just fill that in. So you're just going to go tap, tap, tap very lightly, okay? And we're just going to try to blend and fill that in. Now, sometimes it'll be, it might be a little bit noticeable, but of course this was a big boo-boo, right? If I were leaving that. Another way that you can do this exact same technique is with a blender pen. And to do that, we're going to take a clear block there. That's going to be my little ink pad. All right. So I'm going to pick up some of that ink and same thing, tap, tap, tap. And if it's a small enough mistake, you can fill it in. So that is another technique for you. All right, so here is a card, and I will tell you before my video, I purposely stamped this card bad. I wanted it to be bad. You notice my sentiment is crooked, and that crushed curry leaf is pretty blotchy. I just kind of went for it and said, let's make it bad. So here is a trick. Now, this was a no layer card, and what I did is I turned it into a layer card, and I hope that you can see I just simply took a smaller piece of cardstock. I believe that's 3 3/4 by 5, re-stamped, made sure everything was straight. No one's ever going to know what happened, all my little mistakes that were on the other side. So that's one technique. Another way you could fix this, if the stamp set has dies, you could come in and die cut these. You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my red one, my cherry cobbler. I think I'll go flat with that one. Oh, and I want you to see, I think you can see it better on the back. See how it's embossed? Yeah, it gave it a really nice stitched embossing look. So that looks real pretty there on the front. So let's add this one, and you could go straight. You could lift it off. I think I'm just going to cover that whole leaf entirely so you can see. Now with my remaining 2 leaves, I'm going to go Stampin' Dimensionals, and we can layer those right over that existing. Look at that. And hey, if you don't have dies, you could still fussy cut that. Let's go ahead and add that little linen ribbon. I love linen thread. So to do that, we'll just take a little mini glue dot. I'm going to roll that into a little ball. Let's add that. We'll add that right there at the base of that stem of that leaf. And there we go. And of course, I do have to fix my crooked sentiment. So we are just going to take a die cut sentiment. There we go. There's a couple unique ways to fix a very common boo-boo that we make when we're stamping. Don't underestimate your punches and your die cuts. So here I got a little smudge. I'm just going to come in with one of my punched flowers, and look at that. It actually looks great, and it covers up a really bad smudge. Oh, here's a big boo-boo. We tend to make this one when we didn't adhere the cardstock straight onto the card. I think we've all done this one. Now, if you are using the Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Up's Snail, this tip is going to work great for that. I'm going to come in with my heat tool, and I'm just going to warm up this glue. You see, I just kind of went around the edges, and then I'm going to take, I can't remember. This is like a little spatula type kit that Stampin' Up offers for using the, it's a messy product, so I don't use it very often. The paste, there we go. So you can see, I can just kind of run that through. Do you see how it just lifts that adhesive right off of there? So now I can come back, I can add adhesive again. This time, I'm going to make sure I get it straight. Another one of my tips always is to just lay the card on there, hold it up, make sure it's straight. When you're sure it is, then press that down. This tip also works. I've heard others who have used dental floss. You get a piece of dental floss and just shimmy it down the cardstock. That works too. I do recommend if you have a heat tool, I think it makes the process go much easier when that heat loosens up that glue a little bit, heats it up, makes it a great and easy way to remove a crooked card. All right, let's just pretend your card is without hope. It is so bad you couldn't do anything with it. You know what? Designer series paper is great. We can just adhere designer series paper, cover up everything that went wrong, and now I've got a great card base that I can work with and add a great focal image to. I love using Stampin' Up's embellishments to cover up those little tiny boo-boos. And we all know about those. Maybe our pinky got in a little bit of ink, or sometimes you've just maybe got a little splatter. Something just went wrong. I love to use my different pearls and dots and all those things. Always take a look at the stash that you have and what you might use and what's going to look great with your particular card. that today's video was helpful to you. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, take a minute to subscribe to my channel. You can just click the great big red subscribe button and YouTube will let you know when I'm back with a new video. Thank you guys so much for being a part of today's video, and I hope you learned something new. I look forward to stamping with you guys again soon. Make it a great day. Bye-bye.